A woman was looking for a father for the child in her belly. The first time the woman met a man on a blind date, she forcefully pushed him down. The man, however, would never have dreamed that in just 5 months, the woman would give birth to a healthy child for him. The simple and honest man was very responsible and quickly decided to give the mother and son a home. So the two walked down the aisle, and the man naturally became a father. Unexpectedly, after marriage, the wife was unfaithful. Every day, she carefully dressed herself up, wearing bright clothes and delicate makeup. She stayed out all night carousing, while he stayed at home, taking care of the crying infant. The responsibilities that should have been shared by the couple were entirely placed on his shoulders alone. Day after day, the doubts accumulating in his heart finally erupted. One day, his wife was preparing to go out again, and he decided to see with his own eyes what she was doing outside. So he quietly followed his wife and came to a dimly lit bar. The moment he saw his wife lying in another man's arms, his heart instantly died. He finally understood that he was nothing more than a scapegoat. But he still suppressed the anger in his heart. He thought his wife would explain herself when she returned home. But strangely, when his wife returned, she was unusually calm, as if nothing had happened. There was not a trace of guilt on her face, nor a hint of panic in her eyes. This nonchalant attitude was more unbearable for Frank than the betrayal itself. He could no longer suppress the anger in his heart. And the scene transitions, and the wife's mocking laughter echoes in Frank's ears. Facing her husband's questioning, the wife showed no remorse. Instead, she used cold words to pierce Frank's heart. All the emotions converged into a flood of anger at that moment. He lost control and violently pushed his wife to the ground. His wife's head hit the hard floor heavily, and she instantly lost her vital signs. Frank was immediately panic-stricken. He trembled as he called out to the woman, praying that she would wake up. But a drop of water hit the woman's face, jolting him out of his daze. He looked up in confusion. It was water leaking from the upstairs bathroom. He instantly realized something and ran upstairs like a madman. But it was already too late. Just like that, the child and his wife both left him in a single day. Frank was also arrested and imprisoned for murder. He was sentenced to 25 years. 3 years later, during a routine operation, Frank took the opportunity to jump from a building and escape from prison. He arrived at a supermarket. In the ensuing chaos, he held a boy hostage, forcing the boy's mother to drive him away from there. "This is my mom. Mom, this is my friend. There's a good man here. He has my interest." Seeing the man's rough face and the build on his body, Anna had no intention of helping him. She simply refused the man, citing her busy schedule. But this was the man's only lifeline. His hand tightened around the boy's neck. She was a single mother, and her son was the most precious thing in the world to her. She dared not have any other thoughts and had no choice but to agree. While checking out, Anna's nervous demeanor made the clerk notice her unusual behavior, but he kept quiet. On the way home, the heavy atmosphere in the car intensified Anna's fear and anxiety. Just then, a police car drove toward them. The oncoming sign of hope made her hesitate, but thinking of her son in the back seat, she abandoned the dangerous idea. Amidst her fright, the three finally arrived home. Frank looked around the house after entering. The long-lost sense of warmth calmed him down somewhat, but Anna remained vigilant of this dangerous man at all times. She pulled out a small knife from a drawer and gripped it in her hand. The man also noticed her unease. He put down the coffee the woman offered him and confessed that he had just escaped from prison. But he promised he would not hurt them. He was injured and was just looking for a place to rest and would leave by nightfall. However, the woman absolutely could not trust the words of the stranger. "I've never intentionally hurt anyone." Just then, the TV was broadcasting breaking news. A murderer had escaped from prison. The photo shown was Frank. Seeing Parker's nervous eyes, Frank reassured him not to be afraid. To avoid implicating the mother and son, he decided to pretend to tie Anna up. During the process, his movements were exceptionally careful, gently shifting her body for fear of causing the woman any harm. Anna also seemed to sense the man's gentleness, and her tense nerves began to relax. After completing this, he took ingredients from the refrigerator to cook lunch for the mother and son to apologize for his sudden intrusion into their lives. He skillfully prepared the meal. Since Anna's hands were bound, he voluntarily fed the woman, not forgetting to blow on the food to cool it before bringing it to her mouth. This thoughtful gesture not only made the woman completely let down her guard, but also stirred a faint ripple in her heart. She found it hard to believe that this gentle and considerate man was a wanted criminal. But when night fell, the endless patrols continued. Frank had no choice but to continue to hide there. He then untied the woman. The next morning, he once again prepared breakfast for the two of them early. Parker was staring intently at Frank's picture in the newspaper. The man couldn't help but explain, "You know that article, there's a lot more to the story." "How do you escape?" "I told the cops if he leaves the hospital, he's going to jump out the window. He heard that, he went and got a drink." These life lessons, refined by years of experience, were things Parker, who grew up with only his mother, had never heard before. For the first time, he felt the wisdom of a father figure. Frank also talked about his family, and he realized that Parker had always lived with his mother. What kind of man lets a woman like your mother leave? He was partnered with his colleague. It was then that Anna approached with the rope, signaling for the man to tie her up. But the man said it was no longer necessary. In the future, if the man were caught, that rope would be the best evidence. With the intense patrols recently, Frank indicated that he would have to stay there for a while longer. Following Parker's suggestion, Anna took a bite of the breakfast the man had prepared. Just a small bite, and she was captivated by the sweet and fragrant taste. At this moment, Anna completely let go of her anxiety and wariness, allowing the ripples in her heart to spread. To thank the mother and son for their shelter, Frank began to tidy up the house. He changed the car's oil, washed the floor, and waxed it. Like any father, he patiently imparted his life skills during a sunlit afternoon. Anna watched all this. It was as if all the beauty was like the soft sunlight, warmly sprinkling upon them. She also began to get used to the man's presence, and even thoughtfully mended his trouser hem. But just as they were all immersed in this beauty, an accident suddenly occurred. Frank quickly pretends to hold Anna hostage, making her gasp. He pretended to choke the woman and then told Parker to open the door, cautioning the boy not to reveal anything. Opening the door, they found it was the neighbor who had come to bring them some peaches. But the neighbor became alert when he noticed the woman was not at home. But Parker did not take the opportunity to ask for help. Instead, he cleverly misguided the man. But after all, the fugitive was still at large. The neighbor offered a few cautionary words and then hurriedly left. Afterwards, the man praised Parker for his composition, and his eyes sparkled with joy. An unspoken understanding filled the room between the two of them. Frank then picked up a peach to taste. The sweet flavor made him exclaim in admiration. "They're too soft, I can't eat them all. I should have thrown them down first." But for Frank, this was a small matter. Using his family's traditional recipe, he led the mother and son in making peach pie. Under Frank's guidance, the three of them systematically prepared the dessert. The most ordinary activities of any family became precious in the eyes of these three. Frank's careful guidance further stirred Anna's heart. Parker also noticed his mother's unusual behavior, a change that only appeared when she was with Frank. The aroma of peach pie filled the air. In the lazy afternoon, the three quietly savored this rare sweetness. Their feelings for each other also quietly grew. In the dim light, Anna gradually forgot Frank's identity. When his large hand wrapped around her waist, Anna uninvoluntarily leaned into the man's embrace. Neither of them spoke, they just allowed the burgeoning affection in their hearts to overflow and intertwine. But the sound of a police siren outside the door jolted Frank out of the moment. He decided to cause no more trouble for the mother and son, and planned to leave under the cover of night. But the mother and son couldn't bear for him to leave. "Tomorrow, when you have a bit more time to organize, you won't stop watching. They have dogs that can smell your blood. You should put your rope here." Perhaps they hadn't expected that just a few days together would intertwine their destinies. Frank chose to stay. In the warm and quiet house, Anna and Frank confided their feelings to each other, completely releasing the love in their hearts. The sounds of intimacy from within the house stirred a sense of innocent curiosity in Parker. As dawn broke, Frank began to decorate their small home again. He carefully cleaned the debris from the eaves. Anna thoughtfully brought him coffee. He carefully taught Parker the skills a man should know.
I can't wait to learn how to fix this, especially since you have a woman sitting next to you when it happens. In their free time, the two danced together. Frank also told the woman his story. Just then, the neighbor woman suddenly burst in. Parker quickly and nervously stepped forward to block her. Fortunately, Anna appeared in time. The neighbor asked Anna to look after her autistic son. Before the woman could refuse, the neighbor rushed off. Anna had no choice but to bring the boy inside. But Frank was not annoyed. Instead, he, Anna, and Parker played a game of baseball. Under Frank's coaching, Parker's baseball skills gradually improved, and so the three of them spent a relaxing and pleasant afternoon together. However, that evening when the neighbor came to pick up her son, the news about the man suddenly flashed across the television. The neighbor's son seemed to suddenly understand something and was eager to tell his mother. This instantly made Frank and Anna's hearts race. Hello? We're gonna watch television when we get home. Hello? Hello? The boy finally calmed down. Although they were safe this time, these repeated incidents made Anna consider the idea of running away with Frank. Parker overheard their conversation, but he thought his mother was planning to abandon him with his birth father. This kept him up all night. The next day, he went to the library to borrow a book. A conversation with his crush further deepened his anxiety. He returned home that evening to see Frank, who had a new look, dancing with his mother. He knew the day of departure was near. Just as he was about to leave, his mother called out to him. "We're thinking about Canada. Would be a good place to start. They speak English. You don't need a passport to cross the border. We've decided to go together. Will I ever see you again? What are you talking about? Do you even care about what happens to me? We're all going." This finally put Parker's mind at ease. The next day, they packed their luggage together, but Parker quickly made an excuse and ran out. He found the girl and said goodbye to her. He couldn't bear to lie to her, so he told the girl everything that had happened in the past few days. The girl cleverly realized that the man was the escaped murderer. Seeing that the truth had been revealed, Parker begged her not to tell anyone. The girl said nothing, only giving him a kiss, as if it were a final farewell. At this time, Anna was also having doubts. She had lost the ability to have children after giving birth to Parker. Her ex-husband had left her for this very reason. Because of this series of blows, the woman became afraid to go out and communicate with others. "I didn't say I wouldn't. Tomorrow is what I will do. I can't give you that." Meanwhile, on his way home, Parker was stopped by a police car behind him. The officer offered to drive him home. Parker tried everything to refuse, but seeing the police officer's firm attitude, he had no choice but to get into the car. When Anna saw her son arrive home in a police car, her heart instantly tightened. Found him on the road. He said he'd be right back. He was supposed to be at school for a few more minutes. It turned out the police were just escorting him home for safety. After a brief conversation, the officer left. They two then went to the bank to withdraw money. At the counter, the woman requested to take out all her money. Due to the large amount, the teller had to consult with the manager first. The manager asked Anna about the purpose of the money, which made Anna nervous again. She stammered and couldn't give a clear explanation. The woman's anxious expression naturally made the manager suspicious. Just as Anna didn't know how to answer, Parker suddenly spoke up. "Actually, we've already packed everything. We're going to clean out our bank account, and then we're going to cross the border." These words successfully made everyone laugh and dismissed the manager's doubts. Parker always remembered Frank's words. The truth is often the most effective way to mislead. The neighbor woman burst into the house without warning. She ran into Frank head on. Whether it was confusion about the strange man or recognizing him, the neighbor stood frozen in place. Frank quickly explained that he was just a handyman who came to work. "I brought these for her as a thank you." Looking at the packed luggage, the neighbor couldn't help but be suspicious. Did they say where they were going? He had a few bloody incidents. The neighbor's sudden visit deeply unsettled the man. As soon as the mother and son arrived home, Frank urged them to leave immediately. But if nothing was supposed to happen, an unexpected event did occur. Police sirens were heard outside the door. Their house was surrounded by police who had arrived on the scene. The man knew that everything was about to end. Anna was terrified and didn't know what to do. "What are we going to do?" "We're going to take you away." Frank didn't speak. He just looked at Anna affectionately, wanting to deeply engrave her face in his mind. Then he went downstairs. Suppressing the sadness in his heart, he carefully tied the mother and son to chairs again. After doing all this, he bid them his final farewell. "You're a good man, Henry. If anyone tells you you're not, they're not worth your time. I would trade 20 years for 3 more days with you." Frank then walked alone towards the door, ready to face his judgment. No matter how reluctant Anna and Parker were, they could only suppress their emotions. Frank was sentenced to another 25 years in prison for prison escape and kidnapping. In the following days, Anna desperately sought lawyers, hoping to clear Frank of the kidnapping charge. But even the most famous lawyers had no foolproof plan. Getting arrested is a felony that we can't unsee. And then, of course, there's the illegal crossing. Frank and her son, she had to make a choice between them. She ultimately gave up the idea of clearing the kidnapping charge, but she did not give up on Frank. For 25 years, the woman frequently visited the man in prison. She also insisted on writing to him every day. But Frank refused to see her. Not a single letter written to him was opened. Frank didn't want to hold Anna back from a good life, hoping she could find a man to entrust her life to. But Anna always remained true to her heart. For 25 years, she lived in the same house, afraid the man wouldn't be able to find her. Parker, using the things he learned from the man, successfully made it onto the school baseball team and met his first girlfriend. Using the baking skills he learned from Frank, he opened a bakery. He even appeared in a magazine. One day, Parker received a letter from the prison. It was from Frank. "Dear Henry, I hope you will remember me. We once spent Labor Day weekend together, 5 of the best days of my life. I had always wondered who you would become and what you would look like. And then one day I came across a familiar looking pie, and there you were. I'm proud of you. I will understand if you choose not to respond to this letter. However, I am due to be released shortly. I'm no longer young, but I have plenty of good health remaining. And I'd like to live much the same way we discussed that weekend, back when we thought we'd be a family. Most likely your mother has remarried by now, but on the off chance that she might be alone, I wanted to ask you whether I might write her a letter. I promise you, I would sooner cut off my own hand than bring any more grief to Adele." It was another afternoon. The sunset's afterglow was scattered on the ground. The gentle wind blew, bringing a warm and familiar feeling. Accompanied by the blurred face from memory becoming clear again, the two wandering hearts converged once more. The long river of time had failed to keep them apart. Everything returned this afternoon.